Supreme Court's decision overturning Roe versus Wade has not only ignited violent protest, it's also sparked the left to attack the court's legitimacy. Over the weekend across the country, some protests spiraled out of control. In Los Angeles, police arrested a man charging him with the attempted murder of a police officer after burning him with a makeshift blowtorch. In Vermont, pro-choice vandals scrawled this.
Wait a minute, he burned him with a blowtorch? People don't understand it. That is far more than assault, bruh. That's a blowtorch? Like you got a flamethrower that you're shooting at somebody? Come on, man. You obviously wasn't thinking. You obviously were not thinking. I don't know why nobody talked you out of that. That's just dumb as hell.
Makeshift
That's dumb as hell.
In Vermont, pro-choice vandals scrawled this threat at the Senate House: if abortions aren't safe, you aren't either. And in our nation's capital, activists burned the American flag. One sign next to the burning flags read, F.U. Thomas, Alito, Coney, Barrett, Kavanaugh, Gorsuch, Roberts. And some of the left are specifically targeting Justice Clarence Thomas after he suggested the court should reconsider its ruling on gay marriage and contraception. And now liberals are questioning the validity of the entire Supreme Court and calling for action.
This court has lost legitimacy. They have burned whatever legitimacy they may still have had after their gun decision, after their voting decision, after their union decision.
Sends a blaring signal to all future nominees that they can now lie to duly elected members of the United States Senate in order to secure Supreme Court confirmations and seats on the Supreme Court. I believe lying under oath is an impeachable offense.
The hell with the Supreme Court. We will defy them.
In a country that's supposedly founded on the separation of church and state, we Americans find ourselves being held hostage by a far-right Christian court.
Well, the justices didn't lie. As you know, Emily, they just invoked the Ginsburg rule, which they did not preview their opinion on a case and acknowledge that Roe was precedent. But precedent doesn't mean that it's sacrosanct, especially if it's bad precedent. That aside, Emily, the bigger point here is this is returned to the states. So if the left is so convinced of their political argument, instead of taking a blowtorch to police officers, take it to the ballot box.
That's exactly right. And we've talked before that with everyone missing the entire point of the substantive argument of Roe v. Wade, which is basically restoring the power back to the people, right? It's actually increasing everyone individually.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. And I am paying attention to the subject matter and everything. But this has to be the best looking news panel I've seen. It has to be. It does. It has to be. And yeah, I'm here for it. I can learn from people who look like this. You know what I mean? Does that make me a jerk? Probably. It might. I don't know. Hopefully my wife don't hear that part right there. I'll probably edit that part out.
Argument of Roe v. Wade, which is basically restoring the power back to the people, right? It's actually increasing everyone individual power because it's restricting the government's authority and the government's power. And that is what the intent was behind the Constitution. I also really loved this. We have a call for here. I'll put it up. The Wall Street Journal editorial board wrote, the fury of the left's reaction isn't merely about guns and abortion. It reflects their grief at having lost the court as the vehicle for achieving policy goals they can't get through legislatures. The cultural victories they achieved by judicial fiat will now have to be won by persuading voters. We understand their frustration, but they ought to try democracy for a change. And that is exactly the point.
Now, that's the most difficult way of getting things done, though. And since they don't have the courts in their favor, they don't have majority leaning in their direction. They're throwing pissy fits, and I'm sure a lot of you already understand that. They're like, oh man, now we gotta get people to vote for it. We can't just make our own laws. I hate this. And now they're trying to set stuff on fire and set police on fire, obviously with makeshift flamethrowers. Ridiculous.
Everyone up in arms. We're going to go through, I know, whole tweets and a lot of, especially Hollywood's reaction and the like. How many people actually submitted a call to action that would put someone in office that reflects their actual views? How many of them supported a constructive argument, a constructive suggestion that would actually affect policy change, right? All they are hand-wringing and losing their minds, but they're missing the entire point, which is that it restored power to them that they can now achieve through voting and election.
Yeah, and a lot of exaggeration, Brian, because the point about Justice Thomas, the majority specifically responded to that. Page 13, we'll pull it up. Roe's defenders characterized the abortion right as similar to the rights recognized in past decisions involving matters such as intimate sexual relations, contraception, and marriage, but abortion is different. Roe and Casey acknowledged because it destroys what those decisions called fetal life and what the law now before us describes as an unborn human being. Page 34, they also differentiate those cases, saying they are not at risk.
Well, if you want to extrapolate, if Democrats want to say how bad this is and want to get more votes and more money, they will actually say, look, this is just the beginning. Now they're going to take away from same-sex marriage, they're going to take away contraception, going to take away interracial marriage. And Justice Thomas, by writing that, even though the legal argument is solid, for the layman, which I'm a proud member of, they would say Justice Thomas is going to go further. But the answer is in the Roe v. Wade decision, they say they're not going further. So Justice Thomas, whether you like it or not, it will be alone on this because Alito's not there and Kavanaugh's not there. It does stop here, and they see it. They see a difference. And I obviously think Clarence Thomas have a hard time with nullifying interracial marriage because it would nullify his own. But I was just thinking the big picture. I just am so disturbed by this new trend. And when Republicans play into it, I agree with, I think it's just as disturbing, is blowing up every institution. Yeah. If you don't like the result, blow up the game. Really? So it doesn't, the vote doesn't matter, blow it up, it doesn't matter.
That's like the most childish thing ever. That's literally the definition of taking your ball and going home. The fact that you can't win, you don't want to play harder. You don't want to play smarter. You don't want to figure out a better way to get around to, get to your, the answers that you want, or be able to, get the results that you are aiming to achieve. So you just say, man, F it all. Let's blow it up. Let's set this place on fire. That's idiotic, in my opinion. That's just my most, That's just my opinion. And he's giving them a game plan right here. He's saying if you want to do it this way, then maybe you should say this, and you should do this, and you should do that. This is the problem with opposition not being willing to watch the news sources that give opposing arguments than theirs, because they can learn a whole lot, and they can actually not only can they learn what to say in their arguments, but they can also learn that what I've been arguing about all this time is ridiculous, it's senseless. So maybe I should go back to the drawing board and consider these things, or introduce people who are like-minded as myself, believing opposite of what I'm hearing right now, and just give them another way of looking at things, because they'll hear it better. They'll hear it better from someone who's on their side, in my opinion.
Blow up the game. Really? So the vote doesn't matter? Blow it up, it doesn't matter. Stacey Abrams still hasn't admitted she lost. Hillary Clinton says Donald Trump is illegitimate. For 4 years, they said George W. Bush was an illegitimate president. But Al Gore, to his credit, didn't say that. Everyone around him did. And this last one with President Trump coming out, just blowing up and saying this whole thing's a fraud. Because the people who support them, they just no longer accept the result. That hurts the country. And first off, we should care about the country more than anything else.
Yeah, meanwhile, let's check out one of the worst takes perhaps ever in political commentary. Roll Ana Navarro.
I have a brother who's 57 and has the mental and motor skills of a 1-year-old. And I have a step-granddaughter who was born with Down syndrome. And I've got another step-grandson who is very autistic. Their mothers and people who are in that society, who are in that community, will tell you that they considered suicide, because that's how difficult it is to get help. And so why can I be Catholic and still think this is a wrong decision? Because I'm American.
What is she trying to say? I get it. People who have raised children with these type of issues, natural issues, are such a burden to them in their lives, and they've considered suicide. And I guess their other option that they should have considered was abortion, because if they would have killed the baby and you know, killed them earlier, can you let me know sooner that they're going to be this way and this way and that way? That way I can go ahead and kill them and save myself. There's absolutely no God. There's no God in that answer. It's actually very evil. And I thought that this Navarro young lady, I thought she was a Republican. She's not a Republican. I thought she was conservative. But even still, that argument is ridiculous because, listen, we all have a rough go at it in our own way. We do. But we can't say, how much love are you showing these children and these adults? Like you're saying, I got adult family members who have the brain activity of a 1-year-old, and you know they probably want to commit suicide, and we could have made their lives much easier by doing it for them. That makes no. That's so evil. That's so evil. I hope she hears this back and be like, yeah, that was kind of evil. That was evil as hell. That was evil, bro.
I still think this is a wrong decision because I'm American.
What?
Wow.
Well, first of all, what do her relatives with disabilities have to do with Roe v. Wade? She says that it's harder for them to access. I guess the point she was trying to make, which had nothing to do with their relatives with disabilities, was that it was harder for I would say more low-income families to gain access to medical care if, in fact, they wanted to get an abortion. But what did she just say? I heard her say that her step-granddaughter
Then I was way off if that's what she was saying.
has Down syndrome. So what you're saying is that maybe they should have had an abortion? I mean,
yes.
Because that's what a lot of these...
3 of them.
I don't understand. Should
Yeah,
we
she's saying
abort
they should
every
have
child
died.
that has a disability? That's the whole point. You don't abort a child because it's not convenient for you. If you
Yeah.
get pregnant and your child has a disability, as
Yeah.
long as they can be sustainable and live,
That's
and it's not like
ridiculous.
a heart defect, for example, where they're going to die by age 1. That's a whole different story.
Yo, that's so mean. I just keep thinking about it, and I know I have a smile on my face, but I'm just thankful that I got another day. You know, every time I call my guardian always answers the phone the exact same way. She says, "Praise the Lord, God gave us another day." And then she say, "Hey, how you doing, Vanny Pooh?" She still called me Vanny Pooh. But anyway, she said, "Praise the Lord, God gave us another day." And if God has given us another day, why do we why do we have that urge in us to be God? Like, they wouldn't be suffering from this, that, and the other if I would have been able to play God and just got rid of them. Because we all know that in Sodom and Gomorrah, the reason why Jesus went in there and started flipping tables is because he found out that everybody was losing their mental faculties, and he just wanted to. He was like, "Man, you should have been aborted, all of you."
That was disgusting. I mean, to hear her bring up disabled children in the same sentence as Roe v. Wade, what is she implying?
She's
gross.
a mental deficient.
Yeah.
She's not a smart person. What she's actually doing is making a case for infanticide and euthanasia
Absolutely.
or murder. I mean, that's what she's saying is, you know, these people's lives are such a drain on everyone else that they shouldn't be here, and there should be a way of extinguishing their lives. That's the subtext of what she's saying, and it's incredibly disgusting because, you know, she's not giving value to these people who give love and who are loved in her family, who have completed her family, and it's absolutely repulsive. You know, and this is not an argument about where does life begin? You know, when is it okay to terminate a pregnancy without doing harm? That's not this question. What she's saying is these people are disposable and they are not deserving of life. And it is absolutely disgusting. And if that's the case that is being made, then they have lost me.
Yeah, well said, Kennedy. And any family that has a Down syndrome child would tell you they are the greatest gift that they have ever received.
Well, not Miss Navarro, whatever her first name is. I forgot it again, but that was just mean. That was mean as hell. Why am I still laughing? Just ridiculous. All right, where's my microphone? It's your turn, man. Please let me know whatever you want me to know in the comments below. And if you have yet to hit that subscribe button, please make sure you do so on your way out the door. Once again, guys, I'm Van, and now we are all the LFR family. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video, and hopefully inside the Patreon as well. You all have been amazing. Thank you so much for everything. Click and play, joining the Patreon, hitting the super thanks, commenting, sharing the videos, joining my Twitter, and all these other things, man. Y'all are rock stars. Y'all are rock stars, and you encourage me every day to keep moving forward. So thank you for that. Love y'all.